How's it going? This is Gavin from Photoyouth. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for getting my new song to 3,000 streams. My other two songs don't even have 3,000 streams combined, so it's kind of blown me away a little bit. Thank you to everyone who's just became a fan, and thank you to those who have been here since the beginning. I definitely have more music coming out this year. I'm not going to tell you when just yet, but it is pretty soon. So thank you so very much. You guys had some questions for me, and I've got some answers for you. So let's jump right in. The first question we have is from my friend Aaliyah. She asks, who is your biggest inspiration? The people around me are who inspire me the most, like how they interact with me or how that person made me feel at a certain point in my life. That's where most of my inspiration comes from. However, a lot of what also inspires me is seeing other successful people. It's not something that's like rooted in jealousy. It's more like me seeing them achieve great things helps me realize that I too can achieve great things. Let's take the band 21 Pilots for example. They were just two totally normal dudes from Ohio who just made music and wanted to share it with as many people as possible. You know, after years of hard work and dedication, now they're known worldwide and definitely one of the biggest bands of like my generation, and honestly that's inspiring to me. There are so many come up stories like that. They always just leave me inspired. Thank you for that question. Just to summarize, the people around me and other people's success stories are what inspire me. Aaliyah also had a second question for me. This question is, what do you think is the most underrated genre of music and why? This was an extremely challenging question. While I think that there are a lot of genres who slip through the cracks and fall into obscurity and don't ever garner the attention they deserve, I feel like the genre spoken word is criminally underrated. I'm going to play a few clips for you guys just to help you get a better understanding of what I'm speaking about.
Age is an overexposed photo that the memories can't mend. I know my sweet seductress, and her name is depression. I wrote best beneath that demon's destructive oppression. In those Polaroids, she drove the ink into the canvas like a slave beneath his master's cruel hand.
People often compliment my lyricism, and I honestly owe it all to the spoken word artists that I listened to throughout middle and high school. Those artists really wired my brain in a way that anytime I write lyrics, it has to be something abstract and impactful in some way. Spoken word is an underrated genre because there's no singing generally, it's just speaking, and a lot of the spoken word artists, not all of them, but a lot of them get really emotional and they'll start yelling. I know a lot of people are turned off by that, but ultimately I think it's just an underrated genre because there's no singing. It's not like really something you can dance to or sing along to. It's just a person speaking. But it's such a great genre and I think people should definitely check it out. It's way too underrated. I really had to rack my brain for an answer to this one, so thank you for that. The next question comes from my friend Shelby. She asks, what made you want to pursue music? Honestly, ever since I was very small, I've always loved music. Music has been there for me since the beginning, just like with most people. Some of my earliest core memories revolve around music. Growing up, I always wanted to be a rock star, play in a band, cover myself in tattoos. Literally as far back as like kindergarten and first grade. I don't know what it is, but the lifestyle has always seemed appealing to me. I don't think there was ever a defining moment where I decided to pursue music. Music has just been around me and within me as far back as I can recall. I will say though that my first attempt at pursuing music was in 9th or 10th grade. My parents bought me this little Chaos pad. I used to make drum and synth loops on it and then find some kind of weird sound on my keyboard and put it all together. I didn't have any way of recording it, so there's no way anyone will ever hear it. I also had no idea what I was doing, but I thought I was making like dubstep and EDM. I definitely wasn't though. My project was called Canvas Treetops. Thank you for that question, Shelby. The next question comes from one of my best buddies, Josh. Dude, I haven't seen you since before the pandemic. We need to hang out if you're even still in Nashville. His question is a two-parter. He says, biggest inspiration that made you want to be a musician? And second part, up-and-coming musicians you're excited for. I kind of already answered the first part of this inquiry with my first two questions, so I'll mainly focus on the second part. Some up-and-coming artists that I am excited for are Photoyouth, and that's it. No, I'm totally kidding. For real though, I'm excited for Kenny Hoopla, Carol's Daughter, Eon Dior, and Swaco. I know technically they have like a pretty big following already, some level of popularity, but that's just because they're signed to a major label. But I mean, none of them even have an album out yet. Well, I think Eon Dior just released his first album, so go check that out. But yeah, those are some up and coming artists that I'm most excited for. Thank you for that question. Okay, this question is a little different, which I always like. Tori, my best homie, says, were you a worm kid or a snail kid? I don't ever recall getting excited about finding a worm unless I was like specifically looking for one, but I still, even as an adult, get excited whenever I see a snail or find one of their like abandoned shells laying around. I think that snails are cooler because they're harder to find, plus their shells are like smooth and unique. I've always wondered where snails go when they abandon their shells. I assume they die or they turn into slugs. I have no idea. Don't quote me on that. If you really think about it though, snails and turtles are kind of like the same thing but written in different fonts. If you really think about it. Story time, as a kid we had this large tree in our front yard and it had this divot in the root system on one side. In my child mind it resembled a witch's cauldron. So I took like dead leaves, dirt, snail shells, whatever I could find in the yard, and I put it all into my witch's cauldron and I smashed it up and I stirred it. It was over the course of a couple of days, so it was nice and disgusting. After I was done preparing it, I took a nice big bite, and that was the day I learned not to eat dirt. I think that the fact that I remember that day, the day I learned not to eat dirt, means I was probably old enough to have already known not to eat dirt.
Have you been eating?
Dirt.
Alright, now we got a question from my best friend Seth. He says, what are your dreams? Do you hope to open your own studio? My ultimate dream is just to make it in music, whether that's as a producer, a label owner, a musician, whatever that looks like. I just want to make it in music. And yes, absolutely, I plan to start a label that gives independent talent a platform and adjacent services to help get them off the ground. I already have a name picked out for my label. I'm not going to share it with you guys just yet. In 1 week, I'm starting a program which will certify me in music business, and then hopefully I will begin building my business from there. I already have scouted out 1 or 2 artists that I'd like to add to the label, alongside Photoyouth, of course. By the way, I write, record, mix, and master all of Photoyouth's music, so if you're an artist looking for someone to help you out in that way, hit me up. I make rap beats and all kinds of stuff. I can pretty much do any genre. Even if you don't know how to write music, but you know how to sing, I can write the music for you and you can sing on the track. Sorry, I just had to chase my delinquent cat off. He's being way too loud. The next question I have comes from Jacob and Draven. They ask, who's your favorite artist? What are your favorite artists or bands? I genuinely listen to music all across the genre spectrum, so nailing down a definitive list of top artists or bands was very challenging. I did manage to narrow it down to 5 though. These are bands / musicians that people affiliate with me, but also artists that if I'm ever in need of inspiration, I will reference. 21 Pilots, everyone who knows me personally knows that I am a fanboy of 21 Pilots and have been for years, since the Vessel era. I love 21 Pilots and I love everything they do and everything about them. Number 2, I've got Radiohead. They are a band that has a song for any mood you're in, any type of way you're feeling. They've got a song for it. They're not afraid to do what they want. They put their middle finger in their record label's face with Kid A. The label said, you're gonna kill yourself as a band. It just projected them even further. I respect that. Number 3, we've got Coldplay. Some of the most beautiful music ever written is written by Coldplay. I like their old stuff that's like rock. I like their new stuff that's like pop. It's all great. Chris Martin is my favorite vocalist. And then pretty much any 80s new wave band. I said The Cure specifically because of my boy Robert Smith. Love that guy. I love The Cure. They're very creative. I like their dark aesthetic contrasted by the bright colors. That's definitely not where I got my idea from. But yeah, 80s new wave, The Cure specifically, absolutely love that genre of music. And then number 5 is a little different. I just said Travis Barker. I feel that anything he touches is just absolute gas. It's fire. I love it so much. Obviously, I started with listening to Blink-182. Within the last 2 or 3 years, Travis has got me listening to artists that I would have never listened to before. MGK, there's not a chance I would have ever given that dude a listen, but I heard the song Why Are You Here a couple years ago and I was like, whew, this is heat. I'm obsessed with literally anything Travis Barker makes. Now I've got some honorable mentions. The Lumineers. Not a lot of people know this, but I started out making kind of like folk music that was acoustic, very different from what I make now.
Really driving me mad, and that's alright with me. There's really no fuss.
So I really love the Lumineers. They've always held a special place in my heart. Even as an emo kid in high school listening to like death metal and stuff, the Lumineers still touched me in a way that none of those metal bands ever did. And Oliver Tree, I love that guy. He's not afraid to do what he wants. His music is very serious. His lyrics are very deep, but his image is very fun and crazy, and I really like that about him. Thank you for that question. All right, we've got 2 more questions for you, and they are both from Seth. Seth asks, are there any songs you want to learn that you just can't get yet? Yes, and one that comes to mind specifically is Goat by Polyphia. But there are honestly quite a few. I struggle to learn fast songs that are also technical. It's hard to learn complicated music at a normal speed when that normal speed is really fast. So you're trying to play something complicated that's also fast. If it was slow and complicated, I could probably get it. The speed plus the technicality is not a good combination for me. And we've reached the final question for today. Seth asks, what is the hardest song you've learned that you may still struggle with? This isn't the hardest song that I've learned, but it is one that I struggle with. So I've been trying to learn this song. It's called Perfect Pillow by the band Sean. I only know like 2 parts of it and I can't even play them that well. I've literally been trying to learn how to play this song for years. It's just so fast. Okay, I'm gonna play for you all what I know of this song, which is like pretty much just the first 4 bars of the intro. Ooh, that was rough.
A lot of the people here don't get trophies very often, like Meredith or Kevin. I mean, who's gonna give Kevin an award? Dunkin' Donuts?
Alright guys, that's all the questions I've got for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my awkwardness. Thank you for listening to my music, for liking and sharing it and supporting me. I honestly can't believe how supportive you guys are, and I'm so thankful. I'm so ready to add more people to the Photoyouth community, the Ghoul School. Also, I would like to announce that if you go to my website, which is withkoji.com/Photoyouth, I'll have the website link in the bio. You can sign up for my fan club, and if I get enough people to sign up, I'm gonna give you all something special. What I've got picked out is pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. So make sure to go sign up if you haven't already. I think I've already got 6 people signed up and I haven't even announced the fan club yet. All I do is contact you by text, email, or Facebook Messenger, whichever you prefer. I don't send out any spam. It's literally just about what I need to get out there. Make sure to go sign up. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Please continue to listen to I Woke Up All Night Thinking It Was a Dream featuring Oh Strange. My other songs, remember to stay safe and stay spooky.